All right, on to Genesis chapter 19. Wow. Believe it or not, I've missed 4 days. We'll get caught back up, but kind of took a break. Didn't have time for stuff. Probably had time to read and then just ended up scrolling, but um, trying to wean myself off that. But here we go. The last chapter ended with basically Abraham being annoying to God. God saying stuff like, "I don't know if I should tell him if I want him to have control of all this and all this stuff." And then Abraham was annoying, saying, "If this many people die, will you destroy it?" And he asked like 10 times. So he's probably an annoying fella, but it is what it is. God still loves him. He is who he is. All right, chapter 19: Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. That evening the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom, and Lot was sitting there as they arrived. When he saw them, he stood up to meet them. When he welcomed them and bowed low, then he welcomed them and bowed low to the ground. Think about angels, like angels of the Lord. I always think about that. Like, do we have angels guarding us because God has so many things to do? To deal with so many people. He's like the manager up there, and then the angels are kind of like we're assigned to angels, something like that. I think that's kind of cool, but who knows? My life is complicated as it is, so I don't know what's up there. I want to believe, I choose to believe, but who knows? Um, my lords, he said, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guests for the night. You may then get up in the morning as early as you like and be on your way again. Oh no, they said, we'll just spend the night out here in the city square. But Lot insisted. So at last they went home with him. He set a great feast before them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast after the meal. Bread without yeast. We should make some of that. I think about this in the Bible times, like if something is said in the Bible, like as far as food, I should just try it. See what happens. After the meal, as they were preparing to retire for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted to Lot, "Where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out so we can have sex with them." So you think about where Lot is living in Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not a good place, and you would think that Lot, maybe Lot was a good guy in all this, and he didn't succumb to the temptations of the city. But who knows? But all this happened, and Lot didn't need to come because God didn't tell Abraham to bring him, but Abraham brought him anyways. Um, so all the men wanted to have sex with the two angels, which is weird. All the men. That's interesting. Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind them. "Please, my brothers," he begged, "don't do such as a wicked thing. Look, I have two virgin daughters. Do with them as you wish, but leave these men alone, for they are under my protection." "Stand back," they shouted. "Who do you think you are? We let you settle among us, and now you are trying to tell us what to do? We'll treat you far worse than those other men." And they lunged at Lot and began breaking down the door. The two angels reached out and pulled Lot in and bolted the door. Then they blinded the men of Sodom so they couldn't find the doorway. "Do you have any relatives here in the city?" the angels asked. "Get them out of this place. Sons-in-laws, sons, daughters, or anyone else. For we will destroy the city completely. The stench of this place has reached the Lord, and he has sent us to destroy it." So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, "Quick, get out of the city. The Lord is going to destroy it." But the young men thought he was only joking. At dawn the next morning, the angels became insistent. Hurry, they said to Lot. Take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here. Get out of here right now, or you will be caught in the destruction of the city. When Lot still hesitated, see, he still hesitated. The angels were telling him this and that, and he's still questioning. He's still questioning if he could do it. If he should do it, So think about that in our lives when we have something pushing towards us, towards something to do, and we don't do it. God still loves us, but He still wants us to follow a path and keep grinding in life, not just stay in the wickedness of who we are, I could go into stuff that I'm dealing with, but I won't. But there's always room to get better. I'm just going to say that. And the men didn't come. Maybe I haven't read that yet. When Lot still hesitated, the angel seized his hand and the hands of his wife and 2 daughters and rushed them to safety outside the city, for the Lord was merciful. Run for your lives, the angels warned. Do not stop anywhere in the valley, and don't look back. Escape to the mountains, or you will die. Oh no, my lord, please, Lot begged. You have been so kind to me and saved my life, and you have granted me such mercy. But I cannot go to the mountains. Disaster would catch up to me there, and I will soon die. See, there is a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved. All right, the angel said, I will grant your request. I will not destroy that little village, but hurry, for I can do nothing until you are there. From that time on, the village was known as Zoar. So think about that. The angels wanted him to go to a certain place, and he told them no. He told them no. So, that's something crazy to think about right there. As we move forward in this chapter, it's just interesting, just the way people are, especially when the earth, when it's still the creation of the earth, if you will, and I don't know how many years it is, but to this day we question God. We say, no, let's do this, let's do that, or I don't want to go there, God, send me there. When we should be in a certain place. So, and God may want us in a certain place for a reason, and we may choose another place for our own reasons. So think about that. I think about that when I live in Nashville here myself. I could be living in California or something like that, but I feel like, I don't know if God wanted me here, but I felt a real pulling to come here. And it's kind of helped me and my parents get along better. And I help them whenever they need stuff and things like that. So I think it's helped our relationship grow in a way. But Nashville is an interesting place to live. It's just like, it's just like a place, I've been there, done that, I'm the kind of guy, I won't go on a tangent there, so. All right, the angel said, I will grant you a request. I will not destroy the little village. There you go, Zoar. The sun was rising as Lot reached the village. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the heavens on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them along with the other cities and villages of the plain, eliminating all life, people, plants, and animals alike. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following along behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. Maybe she looked back as if she wanted to go back, and they already told not to look back, but they keep disobeying, so she just was gone, Maybe the fire was too hot, and as they looked back, it just burned her to death, The next morning, Abraham was up early and hurried out to the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain to Sodom and Gomorrah and saw columns of smoke and fumes as from a furnace rising from the cities there. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities on the plain. So you can request stuff to God and He'll grant it, you know. He may not like what you've done, but if you ask Him for some things, He still loves you enough to take care of you, you know. Lot and his daughters. Afterward, Lot left Zoar because he was afraid of the people there. So he left, you know. He didn't have to be there in the first place. Maybe it was a temporary solution for Lot. But he didn't want Lot. The angels didn't want Lot there at all. And he went to the cave in the mountains with his two daughters. One day the older daughter said to her sister, "There isn't a man anywhere in this entire area for us to marry, and our father will soon be too old to have children. Come, let us get him drunk with wine, and then we'll sleep with him. That way we'll preserve our family line through our father." So that night they got him drunk. And the older daughter went in and slept with her father. He was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. The next morning the older daughter said to her younger sister, "I slept with our father last night. Let's get him drunk with wine again tonight, and you go and sleep with him. That way our family line will be preserved." So that night they got him drunk again, and the younger daughter went and slept with him. As before, he was unaware of her lying down or getting up again, so both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. That is a crazy story. I won't get into much of that. That's just insane to me. Even that's in the Bible is crazy to me. But there's a lot in the Bible, so that's an insane story to me. Just shows that God's not gonna do stuff. He's gonna let us do what we need to do to survive, but He doesn't want that to happen. If people start taking stuff in their own hands, so that's kind of how it goes. When the older daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Moab. He became the ancestor of the nation now known as the Moabites. When the younger daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Ben-Ammi. He became the ancestor to the nation now known as the Ammonites. So that's the end of chapter 19. There's a lot there in that chapter, so hope you took what you needed from that. But that's it for chapter 19. We'll probably read chapter 20 today. Then I'll see. It's time for bed, so we'll just probably read chapter 20 and hit the bed.